What's up, nerds? This is Mr. Storm, and today you are going to learn about databases. I know when you woke up this morning, you were thinking, oh man, I really wish I get to learn how to build a database and learn what forms are and what reports are and queries and tables and all that. I know you were so excited for that. Well, your dream is coming true because you're going to learn what a database is and how to use them. Now, this is not going to be an all-encompassing lesson. I do not want you to come out of this being an expert database administrator. This is just going to be, you're just going to dip your toe into what a database is. I'm really not, I'm not expecting you guys to really be able to have a long drawn out conversation about the merits of certain databases. When you walk out of here, I just kind of want you to have an idea of what they are. So I've given you 2 links for information, so you can take a look at those links and read up and learn about what databases are. There's some good videos here. These links are talking about a specific application called Access 2016. It's part of the Microsoft Office suite. Access is a great database application, and it's the one that I use mostly when I'm creating databases, unless I'm doing an online database and I'll use something else. But Access is great. You guys have access on, you have access to Access on the computers in the computer lab, so you can pull that up and play around with Access while you're learning about databases and what they are. Essentially what a database is, however, it's basically a collection of data. Databases are a large collection of data, and they use different techniques for access, for sorting information, accessing information, and presenting information so that it's easier for the user. Databases, as they're used in the business environment, are usually insanely huge. Think about the database that would need to be managed to handle every item that's on sale on Amazon.com. Right? Imagine how big that database would be. But something's got to track. Something's got to track all that information, right? So databases are a really powerful tool for businesses specifically. You've interacted with databases before in your life. Everyone has. We all have interacted with databases, even if you don't know that that's what you're doing. Student records are kept in databases, customer records, product information, all that kind of stuff. So read through this article and you'll learn a bunch of cool information. This article here gets more in depth about the specific parts of databases and what they do. For example, things like tables. Right? Tables is where all the information for databases are specifically stored. So you have records and fields. Records are the rows. So each record is an individual collection of fields, of data in each field that are tied to a specific entry in that record. For example, first name Tracy, last name Beckham, with her street address, or his street address. I don't know. Tracy's an androgynous name. It could be a guy, could be a girl. Usually a lady. By the way, fun fact, my mom's name is Tracy, so good times. But Tracy Beckham, this is their address. They live in Raleigh, North Carolina. So this whole line is a record of information. Each of these columns, however, is a field, right? So there's a city field, a state field, a street address field, and that's what those terms mean. But the combination of records and fields makes up a database. Or makes up a table, sorry, makes up a table. Then you have a couple other things, forms, queries, and reports. Forms are essentially a great looking customer-facing application that allows people to enter information into a database, enter new records into a database, or pull information out of a database to view it. So this is analogous to, like, let's say you go to the library and you go to those computers they have in the library that lets you look up books. Instead of using the Dewey Decimal System, where you have to look through a card catalog, you can go to a computer, pull up the database of all of the books that library has. You type in what you're looking for, author name, book title, genre, whatever, and hit enter, and it pulls up that record from that database and shows you where it is and whether or not it's checked out. So that's what a form is. Queries are essentially it's a way of searching for and compiling data from one or more tables. Queries are great. There are specific languages that programming, well, not really necessarily programming languages, but computer languages that you can use to write queries. Languages like SQL. And if you learn those languages and you get really nerdy and really deep into databases, you can make quite a bit of money as a database administrator if you're really good at structuring queries. But queries just basically say, I want you to pull all of the information from this field, from this table, that matches the information from this field and this table. So an example might be, we'll use the library metaphor or example from before. You might enter, you might want to say, I want to see all of the books in the genre of horror by authors with the last name of King, right? So then it'll pull up every book that matches the horror genre and the author's last name of King, right? So that's what a query is. And a report is essentially just an output of a query, right? So the report just sends you all the information that you requested, and usually in a formatted way, in a way that looks really nice. And you can use Microsoft Access to build tables, queries, forms, and reports, in a pretty easy way. There are a lot of tutorials online to learn how to use Access. I'm not going to make you actually get into Access and play around with it and build databases, because that's kind of outside of the scope of this course, but I just want you to understand what a database is. What I do want you to do, however, is open up the databases assignment. And this assignment is going to ask you to describe some of the things that we've talked about. I want you to describe 3 separate times you've interacted with a database in the past. So delete this red lorem ipsum text. Excuse me. And then talk about times that you've interacted with databases in the past. Even if you're not quite sure if it was a database interaction, talk about some of the times you think you may have interacted with databases. What is a table? So tell me what a table is in your own words. Don't copy and paste out of the resources I've given you. Don't go back and then take my words that I used in this video to explain it and then just type it out, because then you're stealing from me. And that's a spectacularly dumb thing to do, is to steal from your teacher. But I want your own words. What do you think a table is in a database, right? So tell me what a table is, a query, a form, and a report. So write out all those answers in your own words. Remember, please spell check. Please make sure you proofread this information. This is a school assignment. I want it to be intellectually honest and academically viable. So when you're done, you can upload your document to Google Classroom and move on to the next assignment. So thanks for paying attention. I appreciate it. And you can come ask me any questions you want about this assignment, or if you're curious about databases, you can learn more. I can show you some resources where you can learn how to build databases if you want. If that's something you're interested in, please let me know. Again, thanks for paying attention, and I'll see you next time.